Well, good evening. It is Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. It's 6 p.m. and we're in the council chambers. I am calling the regularly scheduled meeting of the Common Council of the City of Platteville to order. We'll start with roll call. Craig.
Lynn Parrott.
Here.
Stephen Badger.
Here.
Kathy Kopp.
Here.
Tony McFall.
Here.
Barbara Doss.
Here.
Bob Gates is excused. Brian Wisnat.
Here.
Very good. We have two special presentations to start our meeting, so we'll start, Craig, if you want to come up, we'll start with the swearing in of a new Platteville police officer. And we welcome, Josh is going to come too. That's good. Great, Chief.
Let's do the introduction. I'm happy to introduce our newest officer, Ryan Keeter. Lives in Platteville right now. Family is originally from Platteville. Grew up in Washington, D.C., attended Southwest Tech, and graduated from the Police Academy in May. He is the replacement for former Chief McKinley, and we're super happy to have him on board. So.
Good afternoon. It's an honor to be here today. I look forward to serving my community to the best of my ability each and every day. This is something I've been working very hard for the past several years now, and I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much. I, Ryan Keeter,
Having been appointed to the office of police officer,
having been appointed to the office of police officer,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my abilities.
and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So, officer, do you have any family in the audience you want to introduce or anybody?
Yes, I do. My dad, Dr. Jeffrey Keeter, is here, as well as my wife, Megan Keeter.
And welcome to you two for being here.
Thank you.
And thanks to your cohorts there for coming out to support you.
We told them they would be a quiz.
Very good. All right. Thank you. Okay, next up for a special presentation is our 2025 audited financial statements. Quinn is with Johnson Block, and Quinn, we invite you to the podium.
We are able to pull that up over here. She's working on that. Yeah, I'm Quinn Mitchell with Johnson Block Audit, manager of the city's audit. So thought I would just kind of go over some highlights from the 2025 audit. I'll concentrate on the PowerPoint up here, but I do have a copy of the full audit report if there's any additional questions. Okay.
Ashley, can somebody help her make it bigger?
I think
There we
she's
go.
working on it.
There we go.
All right. So we performed an audit of the financial statements for the year ended 2025. The full audit report was included with the council packets that you received tonight. We issued an unmodified opinion on those financial statements, so that's a clean opinion. That's the best that you can get. Our audit included all funds and activities of the city. So any general fund, capital projects, TIF districts, water and sewer utility, along with the housing authority is included in that as well. And even though we come in and do an audit of the financial statements and we might propose some potential journal entries to the numbers, they're ultimately the city's financial statements. So management reviews and approves all journal entries in the audit report before we issue those. In addition to the audit, we also prepare a couple regulatory reports. The Public Service Commission requires an annual report of the water utility every year, so we help with that, as well as a municipal financial report. That Form C is due to Department of Revenue. That's what DOR uses for like your transportation and other aid calculations. So we help with that as well. We also have a little bit more audit work we'll finish up this summer or fall. A single audit is required again, where we do some grant compliance testing. If you expend more than $1 million of federal money during 1 year, then this separate audit is required. With that, actually increased from $750,000 to $1 million this year, but with that federal appropriation for the fire facility, that bumped the city into single audit testing again for 2025. So we'll get that completed by September 30th. And then summarize the funds that had more notable fund changes in 2025. Overall, all of the governmental funds, there was an increase of a little over $3 million. I broke down each of the bigger changes there. Capital projects fund decreased a little. That changes every year, up or down, based on the timing of when debt gets issued and when the project expenses are incurred. The fire facility saw a bigger decrease because that related debt was issued in 2024 and then spent down in 2025. And then kind of the opposite with the pool project fund. There was debt issued in 2025 that will be carried over and finish spending up that in 2026. The TIF 7 increased because there's a transfer every year of increment sharing from TID 5. So that was the reason for that increase. The debt service fund increased because the debt that was issued in 2025 was issued at a premium. So there was an increase in that fund. And then the storm damage fund was a new fund this year to account for all of the hail damage from 2025. So the insurance proceeds were received, and then those funds will be spent in 2026. Overall, though, the general fund had favorable variances for both revenues and expenses. One thing I wanted to mention with the budget is there's a new GASB standard that's coming up in 2026. So next year we'll be required to provide a little bit more detail in the notes of the audit report on reasons why the original budget to final budget changed and why there might be any significant variances between actual and final budget. But that'll just be a little more disclosure in the report this year. There's also some changes with the management discussion and analysis that is right in front of the audit report. So I'll work with Nicola and other city staff to see if or how we want to implement those changes, or if it's something the city would like to. If they're not seeing a lot of benefit from that first document, we would be able to get rid of that from the audit report as well. Net position for the water and sewer utility increased about $1.3 million. I have some slides later on that'll show kind of the reason for those changes. But first, focusing on the general fund, 5-year trend of the general fund's fund balance, broken down by the different categories. That non-spendable balance, that's made up mostly of the amounts that TIF District Number 6 owes to the general fund. And then restricted fund balance is any restrictions imposed by like outside parties, donor restricted funds, whereas the assigned fund balance would be anything internally designated by the city for future expenses. That unassigned fund balance, if we go to the next slide, there's a little more detail here on that because the city has a fund balance policy to maintain kind of a reserve of at least 20% of expenses in that category. So you can see the city has been in compliance with that and consistently met the minimum over the last 5 years. It's even increased in 2025 to 34% of expenses. And then the next slide goes over general fund revenues over the last 3 years. So this is just the general fund. This wouldn't be any debt service or capital outlay activity. So the biggest component of the general fund is taxes and any intergovernmental revenues. So those stayed pretty consistent between years. The biggest thing that changed from 24 to 25 was that licenses and permits category increased quite a bit because of all the additional building permit revenue related to the damage that was done. But otherwise, very consistent between years. And then the general fund expenses over the last 3 years, also very comparable over the last few years. The public safety and leisure activities are the largest portion of the expenses, but that breakout percentage of total expenses stayed comparable between years. The capital outlay in 2024, that went down quite a bit to 2025 because there was that land purchase in 24 for the future affordable housing development. But otherwise, very comparable. City makes, around $430,000 to $580,000 of a transfer over to the capital projects fund annually. And then kind of switching gears away from the governmental funds and into the water and sewer utility. So this is for both the water sewer utility combined. The comparison of revenues and expenses and net income over the last 5 years. So there's been a pretty steady increase in net revenues. Net income has been comparable. That 2024 year looks a little bit higher for revenues and net income. That was because of clean water grant proceeds for the generator project. So excluding that, though, everything has been either comparable or on an upward trend over the last few years. Increased sewer rates about 1% in June, increased water rates to kind of keep up with inflation and rising costs. When we do that water utility annual report, it calculates the rate of return. The PSC right now, if you were to go through a full water rate case, would be setting that rate of return at about 6.4% right now. But the statewide average is 3.76. So the city is, right around there and above where the statewide average is. One thing to note, because of the difference in accounting in the water and sewer utility being on a full accrual basis of accounting, the debt payments, the new debt that's issued, those items are not included in the revenues and expenses above. So even though net income is going up, it doesn't always, have a direct correlation with cash going up. I like to point that out. But otherwise, all funds in the water sewer utility have had healthy increases, healthy fund balances overall. And then changes in long-term obligations. So the governmental activities there would include, all the TIF districts, capital projects, general fund. The main reason for the increase in debt was the pool project debt that was issued in 2025. And then the business type activities there would be any water, sewer activity and long-term debt for the year. And I'm sure we've talked before about there's a limitation set for the general obligation debt that you can issue. And that being a little over $50 million, and with the city being a little under $28 million at the end of the year, still had 44% capacity remaining on that general obligation debt limit. Oops. Went too far. And then there is, in addition to the audit report itself that was in the council packet, there's another required audit communication document that's to be read in conjunction with the audit report. For the most part, that's just kind of standard communication. Invite you to read through it, but there's not a whole lot of additional information in there right now. We'll have some additional letters to the council once we do the single audit testing and issue that report by the end of September. But otherwise, just wanted to say thank you to Nicola and all city staff. The audit went very well again, as usual. So if anything else comes up that we can help with, certainly let us know. Is any questions or anything?
Anybody have questions? Brian? I'm looking. I see Tony go no. I see Lynn go no. No? Kathy?
Need to digest.
Need to digest. Need to digest. Okay. Well, Quinn, thank you very much.
you.
All right. All right, we will move along then to the next item on our agenda, which is consideration of a consent agenda. The following items may be approved on a single motion or vote due to their routine nature or previous discussion. Please indicate if you would prefer discussion or action that's separate. We have the council minutes from June the 9th. Payment of bills, appointments to boards and commissions. Tonight I have 2 appointments to the Commission on Aging, Carol Hamus and Kamiko Halfman, and 1 appointment to the Historic Preservation Commission, Trevor Hansen. There are licenses as enumerated in your packet, 1 and 2 year operator licenses to serve and sell alcohol. There's a temporary Class B permit to serve fermented malt beverages issued to the Platteville J.C.'s at Legion Field for Saturday, July the 4th from 2:30 p.m. to midnight as part of Platteville's 4th of July celebration. We have a temporary Class B permit to serve fermented malt beverages to Platteville Dairy Days at Legion Park, and this includes the track area, the Broski Center, and the Broski Center outdoor patio at 400 Pitt Street from 11 a.m. on Friday, September 11th to midnight on Sunday, September 13th for the Platteville Dairy Days celebration. There are several requests for permits. First is a run and walk permit. This is again part of the 4th of July celebration. Here for the Edward Jones Firecracker 5K, which runs from 8 until 11 a.m. on the 4th of July. A street closing, Main Street from Broadway to Cora Street on the 4th of July for the run for the 5K Firecracker. We have a homecoming parade permit for the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. This would be for Saturday, October 10th at 10 a.m. And a banner permit, again, from UW-Platteville. This advertises homecoming, and the request is to hang it from September 28 to October 11. Do I hear questions? Do I hear a motion?
One question, could you repeat who you appointed to Commission on Aging?
That would be Carol Hamus. She is and
Yes.
Kamiko Halfman. Kamiko teaches at UW-Platteville in psychology, and her area of expertise is seniors. Yeah. Okay. Any other
Vic-
questions?
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as explained.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to pass the consent agenda. Craig will vote.
Parrot,
Yes.
Badger,
Yes.
Cop,
Yes.
McFall,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Wisnett.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next on our agenda is citizens' comments, observations, and petitions, if any. I've had nobody ask to speak, but I will look at our staff, and I will first call on Director Lau to say if there's anything on his agenda that we should know about.
Hi, yes, we, at the pool, the Family Aquatic Center, as we all know, we're opening on officially ribbon cutting this Thursday at 4:30-ish. Yeah, we're pretty excited. We passed got all our inspections done. Our operating licenses have been completed and granted, so I think we're ready. We're excited. Got a few checklist items, of course, that we got to clean up, but we'll get that done.
And did they put more parts of the slide up today? Of course,
Yeah.
inquiring minds
If you,
wanted to know yesterday.
if you've
and-
driven by, that is quite the height and spectacle. Yeah, the colors are going, the tubes are going on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
right.
pretty
Yeah.
exciting.
In the voices of my 8-year-old granddaughter, finally. She was like-
Finally?
she was like, we drove by and she saw the tube. She was like, finally. Like,
There we
I
go.
don't know.
So I guess you can quote Lynn's granddaughter
I
on
will,
that.
I will.
Okay, finally. Okay. How about Museum Director Grayborn? Anything you want to report on?
Yes. So July 4th is coming up. We are getting ready for our Heritage Day, and that runs from 9 until 4 p.m. We'll have games, we'll have music, a reading of the Declaration of Independence, and just all around fun. You can check out the museum, so come on out.
And there's food, too.
And food, yes, thank you.
There always has to be
The
food.
Platteville Music Boosters are going to be there, and they have family-friendly options. So, yeah.
All right, anybody else at the, Josh is shaking his head, the chief is shaking his head no. Brian, do you want to say anything about an upcoming event at the airport? I know it's still a month away, but, well, I was
Pancake?
thinking of the pancakes.
I was gonna say the pancake breakfast is late July. I don't have the
I think it's July 29th. Did
yeah,
you just
like
see that?
July 29th or something. I'll have the date for the next meeting for sure. But we did have a really good event out there with the aerobatic competition. A lot of attendance, more attendance I think than we expected, and the weather was good enough to keep it going for all 3 days. It's good.
Okay, anybody else? Kathy?
I do. I want to just add on about the 4th of July. There's a lot of activities going on, but the Veterans Honor Roll hosts their program on the 4th at 10 o'clock in City Park, and the theme this year is it's Letters from Home. So they have talked to several veterans' families, and they're actually going to be reading letters, which is pretty special. And then it really encourage everybody to stop at the museum, and then at 4 o'clock move to Legion Field to take part in the activities up there. There's going to be things for kids. I do want to note that Building Platteville will be doing concessions, and they donate 100% of the proceeds back to the fireworks. So it's important to come out and support.
So, again, there'll be food.
We're known for eating
We're
all the way
going
through
with the
the
food
day.
today.
Yeah,
Food
and if
is
you
the
do
theme.
the firecracker 5K, I'm sure they have bananas and water.
Oh, yeah, they probably have food too. Get your food. All right.
My family is doing the family reunion on the 4th, so you can I'll be at the park, so
Oh,
you
a
can get some
family
food.
reunion.
You can
Okay,
get
it's
some food.
Lynn's family reunion.
You'll be my sister.
All right, very good. All right. Moving on to the reports. In our packet, we had the Airport Commission report. Brian, anything?
Just one, they did purchase an ATV, got
Oh.
a used one. It's really useful. Went out there and ran around the airport with the manager, and it's very useful. He really likes it, and we got it for a pretty good deal.
Water and Sewer Commission. Do we have anything? No. Yeah, yeah, pancake breakfast at the water plant. No, no food there. We're not talking about food here. Okay, moving on into the action items. First action item is Resolution 2606, providing for the sale of approximately $2.8 million in general obligation promissory note series 2026A. And so I think I say to Nicola, you get to introduce our guest.
Yes, so our municipal advisor, Brian Waymer, is here with us tonight from Ellis. He's going to talk to us about these debt issues. We are doing both together this year, so we're doing the promissory note for the city side of our CIP, and then also the water sewer revenue bonds. So you probably noticed that on the agenda and in the packet. So just starting off with the promissory notes. So the CIP budget for 2026 included funding $2,366,000 of capital improvements through the issuance of general obligation notes. The 2026 borrowing for the East Main Street project has been increased by the council from $600,000 in the original budget to amending to $1,129,000. And the borrowing for the $150,000 for the 2.5-ton dump truck body has been postponed until next year when we'll actually be paying the invoice. So we're trying to match up when those projects will complete and we'll pay for them with when we do the borrowing for them. So the updated list of capital projects, you see that in the staff note. The fire engine, 1.1 million, the storm sewer maintenance, a little bit for the design work on the Highway 81 project and the Henry Street project, and then also East Main, as I mentioned, and then the Jefferson Street reconstruction. So with the issuance costs of the debt, the total size is $2,820,000. And with that, I will hand over to Brian.
Sure. Thank you, Nicola, and thank you all for having me here. Sorry I did not bring food. So I'm actually going to kind of tackle both the A and the B issue at the same time. In the pre-sale reports, I did put the tables for both in each. Outside of one being a general obligation pledge and the other being a revenue pledge, they're pretty much all in the same. So this isn't atypical either in terms of what the city's done in the past. So for the utility projects, we issue revenue bonds to preserve that general obligation debt capacity that your auditor spoke to. We'll kind of touch on that in a second. And then for your levy-supported capital needs, we issue general obligation debt, which is a pledge that allows you to levy for any debt service payments. So the A issue is general obligation and your levy-supported items. The B issue is your revenue debt for the utility-supported items. So in your packet, you have our sale day report. The executive summary talks a lot about how, the legality of issuing the debt, what we're doing, and then how we're issuing the debt. So I'm just going to summarize this. Again, this is not atypical in what the city has done, for example, like the pool project last year and your utility projects the year before. We are going to the capital securities market. You go at a later date to take bids from underwriters across the country, and you award the bid based off of the lowest true interest cost. So think of it like a public project, right? You're awarding to the lowest bidder that you feel comfortable with. Same kind of premise here. Some of the items in the pre-sale report will indicate, how we're issuing this. All of it is similar to what we've done in the past to make it advantageous, cast the widest net for underwriters, and make it an attractive securities offering. So, there is a no-call period, for the first 8 years types of things. You're going to go get a rating on both of the issues. We're recommending that you offer kind of either a discount or a premium bid option. These days you are getting a lot of premium bids, and that's kind of more explainable when we see the sale result, but essentially premium bid is where you get paid up front for higher coupons or a higher interest rate, but you get paid up front by that so you can downsize your debt issue and overall lower debt expense there. So again, kind of whipping through the executive summary just because, again, this is not atypical for the city and, similar things that we've done. But most importantly, we'll be back in front of you that night when we take the bids, which is going to be August 11th. So we're going to bid this out on August 11th, collect the sale results, and then we'll be back in front of you to present the sale results. So all in all, that just means Nicola and our teams will be busy up until that point, getting ready for the sale day. I don't know why the closing date came in at 1900, but that is not going to be the closing date. If I recall, let me just pull up a calendar here. We're typically going a couple of weeks later, so I would imagine that's the 1st of September, if not the 2nd of September. So apologize for that. That's a little odd result there. But, probably generated by AI or something. So let's jump to the tables. The first table, just quickly, I want you to focus on the center column here where it says debt service tax levy from prior year. This is before these issuances kind of where the debt service levy will be going in the near future. So 26 obviously already happened, and uncontrollable at this point. And then 27 and beyond is, again, this is your established current debt structuring. So some of the jumps for any of the new alders on council would just be to let you know that obviously there was fire building as well as the pool project, right? So we had some pretty big legacy projects recently that just had unavoidable new interest expense, wherein the debt service levy was needed to increase. However, we did structure those that in the future we would have some drop-offs so that we can structure in new debt as much as possible. But again, if we keep backloading everything, it just means you're paying more interest costs. So it's a fine balance that we try to manage there. But just note, there will be some early years here through 29 where the debt service levy doesn't doesn't decrease before we issue this debt. Again, legacy project driven. Table 2 is a listing that I know you got already from Nicola in your memo there, so I'm not going to review any of that. Table 3 is, again, for both issues, A and B. A is the GO, B is the revenue. But just understand that's how we're arriving at the par amount. So the capital project costs, like Nicola explained, plus your issuance expenses, and then we do estimate some interest earnings. Generally pretty conservative there. Right now, you can probably earn closer to 4, but just understand, we're talking about some rate cuts up ahead, and so for conservancy's sake, we did reduce the estimated earnings. This is not atypical either in terms of our practice and what we've done for the city in the past. So that's how we arrive at the par amount, just to kind of review that for both issues, the $2.82 million for GO and the $3.01 million for revenue. This table 4 is kind of more on a staff level when we, show the fire department levy portion and the streets department levy portion. So not going to kind of go through there. Same goes for the next table 5, just kind of breaks out the utilities. Again, this is more for internal reporting purposes. I think what you're more focused on is going to be table 6, which is our financing plan impact. So this shows the existing debt in blue and then the proposed debt, adding that on in orange. So there, one thing I'll just note is the second to rightmost column will show kind of for a sample taxpayer what is the annual taxes difference from the prior year. So again, some of this is a little unavoidable because we already have increasing debt in terms of your existing debt and those legacy projects. But even adding this on top of that, the increase for $200,000 property is about $21 in total for 2027, and then $29. So again, that includes your existing debt plus this new debt. And then beyond that, we're able to kind of decrease the tax burden for that sample taxpayer. The rightmost column kind of acts like, what if this the existing debt didn't exist? How much does this cost a taxpayer just for the new debt? So over the 20-year amortization, it's about $620. So that buys, if somebody asks, how much does it cost for all of these projects? $620 over 20 years. The next table is taking that same, result from table 6.1, but then, as you know, we do a financial management plan where we project out the next several years of borrowings, so through 2030. So we just added in that just for additional context there. And again, obviously that acts as if, your existing debt on the rightmost column doesn't exist. What is, how much does it cost for a series of what would be 5 debt issuances? And that's about $1,800 and over a longer period of time, right? Because we're going longer than 20 years there. That's about 25 years there. So, and again, we're able to still keep kind of a decreasing debt service levy after 2031. So again, We'll structure each of those in more detail when we get to the sale process, similar to what we're doing here for the 26 issue. But we wanted to provide that continual update on kind of the future outlook. Again, no decisions made tonight or on August 11th really impact those future borrowings. We just provide those for context. Table 7 is a look at, 7.1, a look at that general obligation debt capacity analysis. So for any of the newer council members, I would just say, please note you are limited in how much general obligation debt you can have outstanding. There is no limit to how much revenue debt you can have outstanding. But the limit on general obligation debt is 5% of your total equalized value. So that debt limit is $50.2 million as of year end 2025. And you're at about 56% of that. And then in 26, without this new debt issue, you would have gone to 49%. But I'll just also point out there that you're actually still able to decrease your general obligation debt capacity even with issuing new debt, meaning you're amortizing more in principal payments than you're taking on in this new debt issue of $2.82 million, if that makes sense. In addition to that, you have your own self-restricted policy where the city does limit itself to 3.5% of equalized value. So you're at 78% of that limit, and your residual capacity there is $8 million. So if you had an emergency need to issue new debt throughout the year 2026, you would have some capacity where you still would not hit that threshold. If you're thinking that's a little elevated, remember again, there were some bigger recent legacy projects that were borrowed for that are certainly impacting that. And there is kind of a relative quickness to which you buy that back in terms of as you amortize that debt in the future. As you can see, you get to about 50% of that limit starting in 2030 there. So that's kind of just this issue added on. We did, again, for Table 7.2, show you with that 5-year CIP plan and those future borrowings, kind of what that would look like. And there, still you're at your current highest in 2026, and you're still able to amortize debt faster than you're taking on new debt. So again, there's really no, on the 5-year horizon in terms of the CIP approved last fall, no large projects that are going to increase your debt burden. You're actually decreasing your debt burden faster than you're adding on new debt. So,
can I just interject a comment here, just to point out these analysis on our debt capacity are based on, you'll see in the footnote there, on a projected increase in our equalized value. The equalized value is determined by the state of Wisconsin, but actually between 2024 and 25, we had a substantial contraction in equalized value, 50 million, and that was in our commercial category as determined by the state. So that's pretty unusual. I think it's normal to anticipate increases in equalized value. Nevertheless, that obviously would have an impact on your debt capacity limit, even if you didn't borrow more, when your percentage of equalized value shrinks.
Nick, what you say, I'm sorry, you're saying that's already baked into this, that decrease in equalized value?
Yes, if you look at that first number, if you look at Table 7.1, and it's year 2025, the first row, and you'll see $1,004,711,500.
Yeah.
So prior to that, it doesn't show on this table, but the equalized value in the prior year was roughly $1,050,000,000. So 55 million, somewhere in there. So we shrank about 50 million as calculated by the state of Wisconsin.
That's a phenomena that's not unique either to the city of Platteville. A lot of communities, when they go through a revaluation process and you're looking at, commercial sales, right, the fair market value's going down all over the place. So it would probably be more of a concern if you're, what's also baked into that number is net new construction, right? And if you're having zero net new construction or maybe only demolition, that would be even a larger concern. So equalized value phenomena that happened in terms of a decrease in equalized value is probably only due to the revaluation and understanding where the commercial market exists, kind of macro economy, because that's not unique to the city. So obviously there's sales within the city that affect that as well. So there's a microeconomic element there, but it's not unique to Platteville, as I just wanted to point out. So, what's that?
Does it happen often? Is it a periodic thing, or is it just kind of is this a one-off?
Since COVID and remote work,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
it's happening.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
before that point, no, not at all.
Yeah. Okay.
You're also getting saved again because the residential market is much hotter than it's typically been. Obviously, that's cool. You know, signs of that cooling off are happening. But I would say the devaluation of commercial property, right, will probably regress to the mean as well. Or maybe this is the new mean, so there's no more detraction, you know, from that. And then to kind of focus on the utilities before I conclude here is table 8 is the most important table when you're evaluating the B issue. So what we're looking at there is debt coverage capacity. So we talk about this at length when we get to the financial management plan and project out the next 10 years of where utility rates need to be. But debt coverage, think of that as cash in for each utility, cash out for each utility. That's, you get the resultant net revenues. Whatever that net revenue number is, you take that as a ratio to your debt service. At minimum, you want that to be $1.25 individually for each utility, meaning for every dollar of debt service, we have net revenues of $1.25. Shortly, why that's important, think of utilities like a business that provide 24/7, 365 water and sewer service, and to maintain those assets can cost a lot, right? We live in a lovely climate with main breaks and things like that. So when you have those maintenance events, you want additional coverage capacity there to kind of be able to still be able to pay your debt service. So that's why you'll see the 25 cents for every dollar added there. And then on the rightmost side, on a combined basis, this is what S&P's standard is. So S&P is your rating agency that validates the credit worthiness of the city to prospective, debt investors. And what they're going to say is, we actually want that based off of your rating at a AA area. We want that to be 1.6. So what we do is we always look at it as the last fiscal year. We just got new information tonight, as I seem to come to these meetings annually when your audit's presented. So I'll update this with the 25 numbers now that that's kind of been presented. But in terms of 24, it looks like, oh geez, we're short. Remember, I'm just freezing your net revenues from 24 and adding debt. I'm not taking into consideration what happened in 25 with the rate increases. This table isn't. And then what the plan is 26 and beyond, some of that is already executed as well in terms of rate adjustments. So that all said, the 10-year cash flow is what is still the guiding light, and you're going to be just fine in terms of where you go there. When we present this to the credit rating agency, we present the FMP page. They want to see this though, for whatever reason. They just want to say, our credit committee is going to want to see the last fiscal year, and then we augment that presentation with the FMP kind of future projection. But again, that should kind of help steer you in the direction of understanding why there's future rate adjustments still on the horizon there to maintain that capital investment in the utilities and kind of fiscal health there. But the one thing I would note is, right, as that debt is amortized, again, we would have the ability to filter in new debt and or kind of stave off the rate increases in the future. And then another, my last point in terms of the bond market, I'll just note since last spring, the bond market has come down for municipal issuers. There has been some volatility. Some of that is kind of global events and where elements might go there. We have seen this kind of settle off throughout the month of June, I will say. So We would hope that that would continue into August when we go to sale day. If for whatever reason, if there is a huge blip, we would have the opportunity to pull the sale and, take it on. Again, that'll be an evaluation of market conditions versus when do we need the cash. And, we would work through that with staff. But again, just note, tonight you're green lighting the process and how we're selling the debt, and we still have control all the way through sale day. So I just kind of want to note that this by no means commits you, and you can't back out if we did have some sort of macro or microeconomic event that we thought it would be a good idea to move the sale. That is pretty rare outside of, the COVID events of 2020, as well as Tariff Day, in 2025, which, a lot of municipal issuers were obviously waiting for, the left-hand side of this chart to come down, which had happened later in the year. So I would just say if any of those happen, any action tonight doesn't commit you to August 11th, and we could change course. That's all I have.
Okay, any questions of Brian?
Just on that last point, what would be the lead time for pulling the sale if that were necessary?
Just to look better to the market, I generally recommend pulling that before you send your official statement to the bond market, and that is usually the week before the sale. So, think 7 days. In the events, significant events like COVID and or Tariff Day, we have pulled the sale on the sale day morning, just because, there was a very significant event. So it's not to say that we can't do it all the way up to the sale day in those extreme circumstances where we're kind of throwing our hands up. We have no idea what kind of results you'll get today. You don't want to not pull the sale and then not award it. Generally, that looks bad in terms of the underwriters may not be willing to work with you in the future and bid on it. So that's why we would pull the sale rather than let it happen and then you guys vote no. That's literally only happened one time in the stories I get told about Eller's existence. So I would just say that should be super rare, and we would generally advise you pull the sale before you let it go if there was some sort of known event that happened. So,
This perhaps to Nicola. Was it August that is the prime sale time? I remember we had some discussion about that there were certain ebbs and flows on.
Yes, we have, and in the past we have had some sales towards the end of the year when there does seem to be a decline. However, in the current environment, first of all, we're seeing, compared to last year, we're seeing a softening of the rates, and then also, there is a certain amount of volatility, recently. So there's no guarantee that if we were to wait, that it would soften again in December. Yes.
Any other questions of Brian? Otherwise, I think Brian is waiting for us to maybe take some action.
and you can do both, A and B, so.
Okay,
Yep.
so we have Resolution 2606, which is providing for the sale of approximately $2.82 million in promissory notes. And then we have Resolution 2607, which provides for the sale of just over $3 million in water and sewer system revenue bonds. So these are issues 2026A and 2026B. So, do I?
Separate resolutions? Two
Yes,
separate?
please.
I want two
Okay.
separate, yes.
Okay. So I move to adopt Resolution 2606, providing the sale of approximately $2,820,000 general obligation promissory notes, Series 2026A.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Steve, a second by Brian. Craig will vote.
Parrot,
Yes.
Badger,
Yes.
Cop,
Yes.
McFall,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Wisnap,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, do I hear another?
I move to adopt Resolution 2607, providing for the sale of approximately $3,010,000 Water and Sewer System Revenue Bonds, Series 2026B.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Steve and a second by Kathy to adopt Resolution 2607. Craig will vote.
Parrot,
Yes.
Badger,
Yes.
Cop,
Yes.
McFall,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Wisnap,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. Do you need to take something along tonight that I have to sign? Oh, okay, good. All right, and you're certainly free to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Oh, he got you there.
Very good, you got me on that one, didn't you?
Well played.
Oh, actually Kathy says we have the Tootsie Roll.
That's the best we can do on
That's the
short
best we can do on short notice. Okay. All right, well, let's move on with the next action item on our agenda, which is Contract 1-26. This is for the Jefferson Street reconstruction. Howard?
Yes, thank you. Jefferson Street from Cedar to Lewis was approved for reconstruction. The bidding was delayed. We had the bid opening on June 9th. Owens Excavating was the low bidder of 4 bidders. They have been a successful contract for us, including site work for the fire station and pool projects. We compared the bids to the CIP budgets for the street and storm sewer work and the water and sanitary sewer utility work, and the bid is of $673,743.29 is nearly $120,000 under budget, as you can see from the budget versus bid spreadsheet. We are recommending the award of contract 126 to Owens at the bid price $673,743.29. Delta 3 provided a recommendation also in the bid tabulation, and if you have any questions on that, Dan is in the audience.
Okay, any questions? Questions? Okay, do we have a motion?
Move to award contract 1-26 Jefferson Street to Owens Excavating at the bid price of $673,743.29.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Brian and a second by Lynn. I'm always at least mildly amused by the 29 cents. Mildly amusing somehow. All right, Craig will vote.
Parrot,
Yes.
Badger,
Yes.
Cop,
Yes.
McFall,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Wisnap,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, next we have Resolution 2608. This is the Compliance Maintenance Annual Report for 2025. Howard?
Thank you. Yes, this is an annual report that is due every June 30th to the DNR. It's a report on the condition of our treatment plant, the collection system, the experience of our operations personnel, and our financial and managerial capacity. It is in excellent condition. We have an exceptional staff at the plant, in the collection system, and in the office. Our system was graded an A in all areas, and so enclosed is a resolution that is required by the DNR. The Water and Sewer Commission did review the CMAR and made the recommendation to approve this resolution.
Hey, anybody with questions on the CMAR? Take a motion.
I'll move to approve resolution, 26-08, accepting a compliance maintenance annual report, CMAR, for 5, and authorizing staff to submit the report.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Craig will vote.
Parrot,
Yes.
Badger,
Yes.
Cop,
Yes.
McFall,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Wisnap,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, next we have Amendment 2608, amendment to Chapter 4.07 Sidewalk Cafe. Is that what it said on the other side? Okay. Amendment to Chapter 4.07, Sidewalk Cafe. Joe?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so this is an item that came up recently. We had a sidewalk cafe permit application for the 1906 Tavern on 2nd Street. And when we were doing the review of that, there were some items in the ordinance that I think need to be addressed. The first one is there's a reference in there that says it's only for dining establishments or restaurants licensed under a particular section of Wisconsin statutes. That section doesn't exist anymore, so at a minimum we need to remove that section, or we should remove that section. But also just kind of raise the question at the Plan Commission level, do we need to have that restriction? Do we want to or need to limit it to just restaurants? So their recommendation was to remove that requirement, so the language will be changed to include restaurants, taverns, or other similar businesses. So basically any establishment that sells food, refreshments, or beverages would be eligible to apply for a sidewalk cafe permit. So there are a couple of changes directly related to that. The other, I think, is a fairly minor change, but at least it's worth considering. The next page, section 4, right now the language basically says that the sidewalk cafes are restricted to the public right-of-way immediately adjacent to the building. In the 1906 case, they were looking at putting the tables and chairs away from the building towards the curbside. And this ordinance, I think as it's written now, would not allow that as an option. So it doesn't mean it's going to be approved, but at least if we eliminate that language, it at least gives it an option that they could present that, and then the city can decide if it makes sense for that particular location or not. So that would be another change to consider. So the Plan Commission did review this and did recommend approval, and staff would agree. Any questions?
Questions?
Yeah, I as we discussed last week, I just want to make sure that the police department is okay with this.
We still had some concerns in terms of the enforcement of it, but it's something that we'll monitor going forward, and we'll work with the business owners in making sure that the ordinance is complied with, and we'll report back if we see any issues or if we don't. We'll give you an update here probably beginning of the first part of 2027 in terms of how it's going.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Chief. Any other questions?
Need a motion?
I need a motion then.
Motion to approve the amendments to Chapter 4.07 Sidewalk Cafe Permits as proposed.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Brian, a second by Lynn to approve the change of amendments to Chapter 4.07 Sidewalk Cafe Permits as proposed. Craig will vote.
Parrot,
Yes.
Badger,
Yes.
Cop,
Yes.
McFall,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
Wisnat.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next up is amendment to Chapter 22.11 zoning and Chapter 25.05 ET zoning as it relates to signs. Joe?
Yes, these are, as you mentioned, these are both changes related to the signage ordinance, both inside the city limits and in our extraterritorial zoning area. So this is really I would consider it a housekeeping measure. We had a resident asking some questions about enforcement of political signage and how long it can stay up and that type of thing. So as we were looking at the ordinance, we realized there's some changes that should have been made several years ago in response to a U.S. Supreme Court decision that impacted how we regulate signs. And as I mentioned last time, it's basically we cannot regulate any signage based on the content of that sign. And I think these are all sections where we have to get into that neck of the woods in order to enforce the ordinance. So it would be better if we just removed those highlighted sections. Any questions on that?
Questions? Becomes a free speech
Correct.
item.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, if there are no questions, again, I would take a motion.
I make a motion to approve the amendments to Chapter 22.11 zoning and Chapter 25.05 ET zoning as proposed.
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Brian. Craig will vote.
Parrot,
Yes.
Badger,
Yes.
Cop,
Yes.
McFall, Doss,
Yes.
Wiznett.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, and the last of our action items tonight is the TID boundary amendment. Joe?
Yes, so if you recall, when we had the sale approval for LV Labs, Lot 47, we mentioned that it was in TID 6, which is no longer able to provide financial assistance for these types of projects, so we recommended adding it to TID 9. And then as we were looking at that particular item, we realized there are some other properties that are in a very similar situation that are pending or potential development in the near future that would also need some assistance that are also in TID 6. So we would like to do some amendments to that, to TID 9 boundaries to add some additional properties. And those are highlighted in the map in red. And there actually is one of the properties that is highlighted. We do have a prospect at the moment that is very interested. So timing would be right for that. So we would like to do all of them at one time. So at this point, we're looking for your blessing to proceed with working on the TID 9 amendments.
Questions? You can see that the parcels are mostly in what most people would say is the heart of our industry park.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Yes, right.
The changes are mostly in the heart of the industry park, so. Any questions? If not, again, I would,
Make a motion to approve work to complete the boundary amendment for the tax increment district number 9.
a motion by Steve, second by Kathy to approve completing the work for boundary amendment for the TID 9. We'll vote, Craig.
Parrot,
Yes.
Badger,
Yes.
Cop,
Yes.
McFall, Doss,
Yes.
Wiznett.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, as noted, that ends our action items for tonight. We have one item on for information and discussion, which means we'll have nothing to do at our first meeting in July. Right? Well, we won't even have, yeah, we'll have only one thing to do. It should be a really short meeting. All right, Nicola, you
Thank
have
you.
the proposed budget schedule.
Yes, budget work for 2027 is well underway. And each year we bring to you a proposed schedule for the budget process. This is so that you are, first of all, have an awareness of the work that's involved in preparing the budget and how that work is spread over a series of months. But then also so that you can identify the meeting dates when the council and or other committees, commissions will be meeting to work on the budget. And so there you can see highlighted in yellow are the council meetings where there is proposed to be budget work conducted. The first of those will be the regularly scheduled council meeting on September the 22nd, which will be the presentation of the city manager budget. And then we're looking at a work session on October the 13th. That is also a regularly scheduled council meeting. However, the work session would be prior to or after the council meeting, generally prior to. We also have some other optional dates there as well. October the 20th as an optional review session, and October the 27th, another optional review session that we can decide as things move forward. And then finally, on November the 24th is when we will have the public hearing and adoption of the 2027 budget. I also have shown you there the proposed dates for the airport budget to be presented to the Airport Commission and adopted by the Commission in November, and then also the water sewer budgets to be presented to the Commission beginning on October the 14th and ending on November the 10th. Are there any questions about the budget schedule?
Questions, comments? It appears we're all familiar with the schedule, understand it, so thank you. Then that ends our regularly scheduled activities for tonight. We do have 2 closed sessions scheduled. I will read both. We will go into closed session for, per Wisconsin statute 1985, parent 1, parent E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. This is a discussion of the Trailview development proposals. We will also have a closed session per Wisconsin statute 19.85, parent 1, parent G. This is for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or likely to become involved, and this is about the Walmart mediation. So I think I only need one. Do I need 1 or 2?
I would recommend a single motion as you
Going
have
in,
stated, yes.
Yeah. So I need 1 motion to go into closed session, and then 2 different statutes, 1985, parent 1 and E, and then 1985, parent 1 and G.
I make a motion that we go into close, that we adjourn the open session and go into closed session to discuss, according to Wisconsin statute 1985 1E, and second closed session to discuss Wisconsin statute 1985 1G.
And there, we intend to take no, we intend to report no action.
No.
So I'll take a second.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Brian, or Steve, second by Brian, to go to closed session. Craig will take a vote.
Parrot,
Yes.
Badger,
Yes.
Cop, McFall, Doss,
Yes?
Wisnett,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, and we'll take about a 5-minute recess here, and then I think we're gonna have some folks visiting us via technology.
Oh, for the daycare? Say, do you know what the date was? Oh, look at that. All right.
I didn't know if Brian wants to take.
Kinda hungry too. Barbie should have been bringing up food. Right. Is this some cheese whiz in the back or something, guys?
No, I understand. Yeah.
See ya, Howard.
Tomorrow is later.
Looking like a coconut head over here.
Coconut head?
You don't have any chips or nothing in the back. Barb home. What we gonna do?
There's a Tootsie Roll over here.
I want that Tootsie Roll in there. Mom will do.
Cass, you want us, well, if he's gonna be on line, we can start here.
Oh, we got closed.
So the
this?
guy is gonna, yeah, but we can stay here then, we'll all see him. Yeah, and
Usually
then
comes
if
up
we
with
wanna talk, yeah, we'll stay here.
Yes.
Yep,
That's what we did last time.
yep. We got it.
So,
Yes.
you felt me. You felt me. She felt me.
He is
I can do that.
way, that's
Until
gonna be my easiest part of my day.
he's